We got our tourist visa, that's B1, B2. Then our student visas, that's F1 and F2. Then work visa, that's H1, H4 within 5 minutes. Do you guys want to know how? Keep watching this video till the end. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. First of all, thank you so much for the awesome response that you guys have shown on my previous video about US visa process. And here I am with yet another helpful video in which I'm going to talk about our experience of the visa interview. So let's get started. So let me begin with the most common visa type, that is B1, B2, the tourist visa. We all know US is a beautiful country and a lot of you guys want to travel to United States, but whenever you apply for a visa, I'm sure everyone is really curious about what the interviewer is going to ask you and how and what to say when you are facing those interview questions. So let me just share my experience with you guys. I applied for my tourist visa 5 years ago, and the process is still pretty much the same as to how you apply for a visa. And for those of you who want to know the step-by-step guide for US visa application from India, I have a video. I'm going to link it up here for you guys. That might be helpful whenever you plan on applying for your visa. So let's get started. What are you supposed to do when you reach the window where your interview is going to take place? First of all, you need to greet the officer. You do not have to get intimidated by how the officer reacted or answered or questioned the previous person, because your experience might just be entirely opposite. Now, after you greet, even if the officer does not respond back, do not get disappointed. They meet hundreds like us every day, so they sometimes miss out, which personally happened to me. But do not start judging how your rest of the interview is going to be. What is the officer going to ask you? That's one thing that hits our mind the moment we take the interview date. So the first thing the officer is going to ask for is your passport and your DS-160 in case of the tourist visa, because that's the only document that's primarily required for B1, B2 visa. During the interview process, everyone faces a different officer, and every officer might just ask similar kind of questions but a different question to every individual. So I am going to share what I was asked at my interview. So the first question the officer asked us is, what is the purpose of our visit? Even though they know we have applied for a tourist visa, they might as well want to hear it from our mouth. So how we answered that question? We said we are visiting our family in Los Angeles. You have to make sure that your answer is pretty precise, crisp and clear. Only answer to the question that has been asked for. Do not give extra information unless the officer asks you another question. The next question was, how long do we plan to stay there? So if you have already made all the bookings and have the tickets with you and know the travel dates, then you can tell the precise number of days you're going to stay, or else you can give a rough estimate like 15 to 20 days. That's what the officer wants to hear. One thing that you got to remember here is that while you are answering these questions, the officer is constantly assessing the way you are answering these questions to judge the level of confidence that you're showing, which is actually in turn helping him already to make a decision about your visa approval/rejection. So the third question that the officer asked us was, where are we going to stay in LA? We told him already that we are going to visit our family, but he wants to know where will we stay. If we are staying with them, we need to tell him the exact street address where we are going to stay. But if you are going to stay at a hotel, you should know the hotel name, but it's always best to know the street address as well. The next thing we were asked was, what do we do? So you have to tell the officer, if you are working in a company, then you have to tell him what is the post that you are at and what is the name of the company that you're working with. The next question he asked was, how long I've been working with that company? So you have to answer that accordingly. The officer, from my perspective, is trying to assess what is there in India that's going to bring you back from the United States. Since you are applying for a non-immigrant visa, they want to make sure that you are coming back to your home country after visiting the United States. This is it, guys. This was our interview. The tenure of our interview was 5 minutes. After this, the officer kept the passports with himself and told us that we are granted the visa. So depending upon the mode of delivery that you have chosen, you will receive your passport. We received ours within 7 days at our home address, and we got a visa for 10 years. That's, I think, a standard guideline for tourist visas. So guys, to sum it up, I am going to give you 3 key takeaways. The first one being that you have to be very confident throughout your interview. You have to try. I know everyone gets nervous during the interview, but you have to try to treat the interview like a conversation, like everyday conversation that you might have with a colleague, because the interviewer is going to ask you some basic questions and you're just supposed to answer him back. The second one being you have to be truthful. Like if you are telling the truth, the confidence automatically comes out, and if you are lying, you are cooking up something, the interviewer is going to assess it within seconds that from the beginning of the interview that you are not being truthful. Third and the most important one, unless you are applying for an immigrant visa, during the interview the officer should be able to assess that you have enough social ties in your country that are going to bring you back, and you are not going to settle down in United States on a non-immigrant visa. This thing, guys, is very, very important. Now for the other visa types that we talked about in the beginning of the video, that's the F1, F2 and the H1, H4. I am going to come up with another, like a separate video where I'll talk about the set of questions that we were asked during those interviews. And I hope that you guys found this video useful. I would be happy to help. If you have any questions and concerns, feel free to comment in the comment section, or you can drop me an email on the email ID that's mentioned below. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, because I'm going to be coming up with more videos pretty soon. Thank you. Bye.